What's going on, everybody? Drive Time back at it again. So I finally got one of the questions that myself and many other objective intellectual type people had, and that was, how is Andrew Wilson going to handle debates after having such a horrible showing with that Charlie chick on the whatever podcast? And I finally got to see some clips from debatecon, his event that he had that was shortly after that event, and woo! Andrew Wilson did to this dude, he did the thing that UFC fighters do when they take a horrible loss and then they go back and they beat the living snot out of the next opponent as if they were the ones who inflicted the last loss on them. This is basically what I've seen Andrew Wilson do. So I saw just the opening statement of this debate he had with, I believe it was a Muslim or somebody representing Islam or something like that. And I think the prompt was, is Islamic culture better than Christian culture? The Islamic dude comes out with this whole opening statement, which was solid. He had a solid one. He tried to paint it that Andrew was going to do this and that. He was going to say this and that. He kind of pulled some of Andrew's like techniques or whatever to throw it at him and see how Andrew's going to play it. And unbeknownst to him, Andrew's opening statement, because he went second, was written explaining that he was gonna do exactly what he did. So I don't know if they have their orders preset of who goes first when they give opening statements. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, depending on where the debate is and who moderates and whatever. But when Andrew gives his opening statement, he says, if I was gonna debate me, I would say this, and then he basically outlined everything that the dude had already said, but he had predicted it in advance. And then he goes on to say, and he gives him credit. He says, and that would work with most people, but I'm not most people. And I think his exact words was, that will work with the average debater, but not someone God tier. And then what he did afterwards backed it up. He came with this list, a running list of statistics and percentages of people from Islamic rule countries versus Christian rule countries, and the percentages of incest and the intellect numbers, and showed how over time in all these Islamic rule countries the intellect has declined and the incest has increased, and it's the direct adverse for Christian rule countries. And he demonstrated it in like Europe and Africa, and it was so bad that the dude that he was debating looked like he was ready to puke on the podium. It was horrific. And it was just the opening statement. I've seen Andrew deliver some pretty gruesome opening statements before. Anybody who follows him knows about the one where it was so bad the guy quit immediately after the opening statement. It was worse than that. I always say you can tell a mark of a person by how they take a loss. And for all you people jumping in my last comment, he didn't lose because every point, you don't understand how debates work. You don't understand how it works when you're supposed to be in a situation where you're supposed to hold frame, or you simply just don't like to see your idols lose, and so you just refuse to accept it. I said what I said. I stand on it. He lost. Anyway, for him to take an L like that and have such a bad showing in the end of that debate with Charlie, and then to come back in this fashion and just gruesomely demolish this dude the way he did in just the opening statement, this is why I hold him to such a high standard as far as debates goes, because I understand what he's capable of, and I understand what a person who's really good at debating is capable of, and it only further solidifies what I said in my last video about him. That whole tirade that he went on, there was no excuse for it, none whatsoever. And I seen somebody in one of my comments, and he was just upset and No. And if you hyper emotional, and I get it, because I think it's a lot of people out here nowadays that don't understand stoicism. I'm saying it so you can understand it. There's no excuse for that. And if you do it, you can't then try to pretend like or claim that you were still the victor of the situation. It just doesn't work that way. But Big Bro still got it. Again, he handed. I can't wait to see the full debate of what else he does to this dude. But opening statement, brutal fashion, just like we know and expect out of the guy. And I was glad to see it.